Utah Jazz are trying to develop the young talent on the roster, which is why Brice Sensabaugh's performance Saturday in Miami was so exciting. He scored a career-high 34 points in a 36-point win over the Heat. The Jazz had a chance to sweep the Florida trip. Second night of a back-to-back in Orlando, taking on the Magic. John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, Keontae George, and Jordan Clarkson all out. An opportunity for guys like Johnny Juzang to step up. He beats the shot clock. Brice Sensabaugh, who's from the Orlando area, picked up right where he left off last night. A deep three to get the Jazz within 3 after 1 quarter. The Jazz get some great bench minutes into the second quarter and cut into that Magic lead. Shvi Mikhailiuk to Drew Eubanks for the finish. And Kyle Filipowski comes off the bench. He's going to show a burst at his size, pretty impressive. And then more from Mikhailiuk, who keeps it. This time slices through the defense. He had 12 points off the bench. And Sensabaugh stays hot. He's going to win this matchup. Baseline for the layup. And the Jazz getting transition points, too. Johnny Juzang finds Walker Kessler for an easy 2. The game was tied at 43 at the half. Third quarter we go. The Jazz take control of this game. Colin Sexton comes out of the locker room feeling it. He hits a tough jumper. He's fired up. Moments later, lines up and knocks down a 3 as the Jazz begin to pull away. Kyle Filipowski gave the Jazz some great minutes. He feeds Walker Kessler for an easy 2, and the Jazz led by 9 after 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, Brice continues to cook. This is a tough shot. The contact, draws the foul, and 1. Now more one-on-one play. His confidence is building. The smile on his face shows it, proving he can do this at an NBA level. If he can become more consistent, the Jazz have really found something here with him. Not many can do what Brice has done the last 2 nights. 27 points on 11 of 19 shooting, 5 of 6 from 3. The Jazz built a 20-point lead in the fourth. They're just having fun right now. You saw Collier and Filipowski connect for the alley-oop. 12 points for Filipowski. The Jazz sweep the Florida roadie. Brice Sensabaugh balls out in his hometown. Jazz now 9-25 on the season. They're back home Tuesday against the Atlanta Hawks.
I thought it was a big step for him, his confidence, his belief in the work that he's doing to have this game 2 nights in a row.
Just trying to build. Got rhythm going a little bit, so, just try to keep it going and, find the right shots and make sure I'm, putting my hand in the cookie jar and make sure it goes in.
Well, his hand was in the cookie jar, and he was eating this weekend. What a weekend for Brice Sensabaugh, breakout weekend. He follows up a career night of 34 points in Miami and then follows that up with 27 in his homecoming. His combined numbers in Florida this weekend, 61 points, 23 of 37 shooting. That's 62% from the field, 12 of 17 from 3. That's 71% from 3. Wow. All right, let's take a trip back in time. How about some 1980s Utah Jazz basketball? You gotta love it, baby. Jazz versus the Showtime Lakers. On this day in 1987, John Stockton, 22 assists. He made that happen a lot to go along with 11 points. Feeding the mailman on the break, Malone finished with 12 and 17. The Jazz were led by Thurl Bailey, Big T, 29 points. Jazz got the win on that night. Sunday NBA action. The Oklahoma City Thunder put their 14-game winning streak on the line against the defending champion Boston Celtics, down 10 at the half. The Thunder dominate the second half with defense. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander having an MVP season, a block on one end and a lob for a dunk on the other. The Thunder hold the Celtics to 27 second-half points and extend their win streak to 15. The best team in the East, Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the Charlotte Hornets. LaMelo Ball is healthy, and he is fun to watch when he is. Some razzle-dazzle early for the Hornets. He had 24 points, but substance over style wins over in this one. Donovan Mitchell, 3 of 7 from 3, 19 points. Cavs moved to 31 and 4. Wow, 10 straight wins, best record in the NBA. Lakers and Rockets. This Rocket fan is $25,000 richer. He makes the half-court shot to cash in. The Rockets are cashing in right now on their young roster. Amen Thompson with the alley-oop dunk. Then Jalen Green knows how to punch it. He's going to put the game away with a 3. And the Rockets beat the Lakers 119 to 115.
Tucker Anderson for 3. Oh, he hit it! Holy smokes, Utah State has ended the streak.
And now up ahead is Martinez. And He'll throw it down.
Cano decides to drive. Whoa! Oh my goodness, what was that? He throws it down with the right hand.
I've seen him do that before, but I haven't seen him do it in a game yet. That was unbelievable.
Holy smokes, what a dunk!
The Utah State Aggies are building a rock-solid NCAA tournament resume. They're the only team in the country with 4 Quad 1 road wins, and they are off to a perfect start in Mountain West play. Last Saturday, they earned one of those Quad 1 road wins in one of the toughest venues in all of college basketball, Viejas Arena in San Diego. They fell behind to the Aztecs by as much as 18, but would rally. Mason Falzov and Ian Martinez combined for 33 points, and Tucker Anderson stepped up, making 2 huge threes in crunch time, including the game winner with just seconds left. 3 of his 14 points off the bench in that win. Then another tough road win in a tough road venue in Reno on New Year's Eve against the Nevada Wolfpack. The Aggies trailed again at the half, but would rally in the second half. Ian Martinez was scoreless with under 8 minutes left when he would score 17 straight points for the Aggies, helping them hold off the Wolfpack and move to 3-0 in conference play. They weren't done. The road-weary Aggies finally returned home Saturday to face a struggling Fresno State team. Once again, the Aggies trailing at halftime. It wasn't a perfect performance, but they would pick it up in the second half. Dexter Cano with the dunk of the year so far for Utah State. One of the best in college basketball this year. He had 13 off the bench. Carson Templin had one of the best games of his career. He scored 18 off the bench, 12 of them in the second half. And the Aggies held off the Bulldogs' upset attempt to move to 4-0 in conference play. The Aggies improved to 4-0 in the Mountain West, but with their first half effort, Coach Calhoun didn't sound like a coach of a 14-win team after the game.
We talked about urgency, but it's like, I couldn't get it out of them. So blame myself. You're 14-1 and you're mad. That's kind of a childish behavior, right? But you can't be satisfied, and that's kind of how I live my life, in survival mode. And I got to motivate these guys tomorrow to be better. And it was just, tonight was the first night it felt like I was coaching effort, and I haven't had to do that in 15 games. So we can't have that.
That's a good coach right there. Never too high, never too low. College football, BYU defensive back Jacob Robinson has made a decision about his future. He has declared for the NFL draft. Robinson, a standout defensive back out of Orem High School and a Utah State transfer, was a team captain and intercepted 11 passes as a Cougar, and he was named second team all Big 12. Stevenson Sylvester's back. With reaction to this, we're now turning our attention in the offseason to the transfer portal. We've talked about that, and now we want to talk about the draft because Jacob Robinson is an interesting prospect.
Yeah.
Do you believe he is ready?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've been talking about him for a couple of years. One, I love this kid's technique.
Yeah.
He's coachable, which I've heard from the BYU staff. He's absolutely amazing when you put on the tape. He's one of those guys that you can align in a slot, right?
Yeah.
Those slot cornerbacks, DBs, are the hardest position in football, right? They got to go. They got to defend the whole field. He's one of those guys, Taron Johnson type of guy. You saw tonight in the Vikings versus Lions game how important Amik Robertson was to the Detroit Lions, right? He was a nickel guy, had to move outside. That's Jacob Robinson. And so teams would value that. I think he must have got word that I'm going to have a good draft grade, and I think it's right. I think he's somebody that can plug and play right now in the NFL.
We're really excited for Jacob. I mean, he really deserves it. We call this high school games.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to see the development from high school kid at Orem High School to now on the precipice of making his NFL dreams come true. That's pretty cool. Another guy we covered, Jackson Dart.
Oh.
Now, he didn't go to any of the local schools here, but man, what a career he had at Ole Miss. He has declared for the NFL draft as well. I know this is not the best year for college quarterbacks. It's not like last year, but that probably works out for Jackson Dart, right?
Oh, yeah, it does. When you don't have a big pool, you look good, and you put a bowl game on tape the way he put a bowl game on tape.
Special. 4 touchdowns.
That was nice. That was very nice. But you showed his whole bag that game, from his legs to his toughness. He took some hits in that game, gave some hits out in that game, but threw passes all over the place. He's going to be one of the top, in my opinion, 3 to 4 quarterbacks in that draft.
No doubt.
He could go first round this year. And so awesome to see him from Roy High School to Corner Canyon to USC to Ole Miss and what he's done. He was on the news all like crazy these last couple of years at Ole Miss, and he's just done a terrific job, and I can't wait for this to pay off for him.
First quarterback there to win 10 plus games.
Yeah,
That's where Eli Manning and Archie Manning went. So great history and great career there. Real quick, Slice, who are some of the other guys from here that are going to the NFL draft that you're keeping an eye on as you get ready to prepare for the draft?
Oh, I can't wait. Guys, pro days, all kinds of stuff's coming up. But, of course, we got to talk about Jalen Royals up at Utah State.
Yeah.
Absolute talent.
Wow.
I know it's been a hard couple years at Utah State, but his talent is something that you can't hide.
All-American.
Right. And you got guys from Utah like Corinne Reed, Mekhi Bernard. This is going to be absolute awesome pool. Connor Pay, Tyler Batty from BYU. There's a lot of local guys that are going to make some noise here in the draft that I think had terrific years. So as more news comes out, more guys declare. I can't wait to break them down this spring.
Of course, with the NIL and all that kind of stuff, we've got more guys staying. BYU fans are excited about Chase Roberts coming back. So a lot of things to look forward to in the offseason. Sly, thanks. Utah women's hoops, one of 3 undefeated teams in the Big 12, a big one Sunday at Iowa State. Miye Toure led the Utes with 24 points, 9 rebounds, 4 of 6 from 3. Utah led by 11 early. Gianna Neepkins, now we go to the third quarter, puts a Cyclone defender on the hardwood, buries a 3 to give the lead back to Utah. Let's go to the fourth, tied at 58. Kennedy McQueen with a step-back 3 to take the lead. And then under a minute left, Inesh Vieta with a clutch 3, and it's ball game. Utah, one of 3 undefeated teams in the Big 12. A couple players got nicked up, Kennedy McQueen and Gianna Neepkins. Hopefully they're going to be okay. The Utes deserve to be ranked in the top 25. We have to take another break. More NFL, the latest on the Utah Hockey Club, and the latest on BYU Hoops. A big night for Richie Saunders this week and a humbling trip to Houston. The good, the bad, and the ugly coming up next. It's a big week for BYU men's hoops. They opened Big 12 play starting on New Year's Eve as they welcomed a good Arizona State Sun Devils team to the Marriott Center. Of course, BYU played well. Jaeger Demon still trying to get his shot to fall, but it's tough to miss this. A Demon dunk. But the story of the game was the offensive explosion from Richie Saunders. He was on fire. The Sun Devils had no answer for him. He scored a career-high 30 points on 11 of 18 shooting, 6 of 11 from 3. He led the Cougars to a 20-point win.
He's a stud. I've said it from day one. I mean, he's a flat-out stud. I mean, he's a guy that you can. The thing I love about him is just how hard he plays, number one, but he's very opportunistic, looking to be aggressive. I think he takes good shots. He puts a ton of pressure on the defense, and he was a catalyst for us tonight. But good to get that first Big 12 one out of the way, and obviously move on to a tough Houston team.
And Houston was just as tough as expected. No one thought BYU was going to go down and win against a team that's 106 at home since 2018. But the Cougars were dominated. Only one BYU player scored in double figures, and that was 12 off the bench from Trevin Nell. Houston, loaded with talent, showed why they're ranked 14th in the country. BYU will now come back home where they will host Texas Tech on Tuesday night. Now to the NHL. The Utah Hockey Club is back home for 7 straight games, starting Wednesday night when they host the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers. It's been a rough ride for Utah lately. They did enjoy that 5-3 win in Calgary, but after Saturday's overtime loss in Dallas, Utah's lost 6 of their last 7 games. Fortunately, the losses piling up has not caused them to drop in the standings, just 3 points behind Vancouver.
We did what we had to do in Calgary. We got a big point today in Dallas. Obviously, the trip did not start the way we wanted, but I think we need to look at we need to have a short-term memory and remember the last 2 games, and we're going home to play the Stanley Cup champion, so we need to be ready for that one.
7 straight home games, a chance to rise in the standings. All right, the Red Rocks launched a new season Friday at Huntsman Center. High expectations once again. Utah opens the season as the 5th-ranked team in the country. Utah welcomed Utah State for the opener. Rough start on vault for the Red Rocks. 4 scores of lower than 9.8, but the bright spot came from the anchor, Ashley Glenn, with a 9.925. We go to bars. Red Rocks were led by seniors Emily Morgan and Grace McCallum, the former Olympian, each recording a 9.9 on the event. Utah looks to be solid on the beam again. Red Rocks did not have a score lower than 9.85. Sophomore Cammie Winger came up big for Utah, near perfection, a 9.95. Red Rocks hope to build on floor, which was their best event last year. McKenna Smith, a 9.975 on floor. Smith also had the all-around best with 39.5. Utah defeated Utah State Friday night. The Red Rocks will take on Oklahoma LSU, and Cal in Saturday's collegiate quad. Happy birthday to a legend.
We got to get this on camera. Cancel the tickets. We're not even going to go.
Is this the best thing that's ever happened to you as far as your career?
No.
The most fun thing?
Well, no. My honeymoon was a lot of fun. All right. Frank Layden for Eyewitness News.
Oh, man, so many great memories Frank Layden gave us and continues to give us. Happy birthday to a legend. Frank Layden turns 93 today, born in the state in 1932 in Brooklyn, New York. He, of course, helped guide the Utah Jazz through tough times in the 80s and built the team into a playoff contender, ushering in the Stockton to Malone era, turning it over to Jerry Sloan, and the rest is history. One of the greatest contributors to the Utah sports community. We finish with, well, the most unique bowl of the season. Friday night, Mayo Bowl action, Minnesota and Virginia Tech. Second quarter, Minnesota trickeration. Darius Taylor takes the pitch, and he's going to throw it. Elijah Spencer ties up the game, and then we get this. Flavor Flav is your surprise Mayo mascot. And to the victor go the spoils, or he's spoiled now. I don't know which. The fabled Mayo dump for the coach. There's a lot of jokes we could have just said there. I'm going to abstain. But my goodness, that is gross. Can you imagine being covered in mayo?